Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may I have your attention, please? Because coming to you live from the beautiful On Air Media Studios in Dallas, Texas, this is Far Out Fiesta, episode 164, Morgan Thanksgiving Road Trip. I am your host and humble narrator, Richard Houghton. Please give it up for amazing cast, Kristin Keith, Robb Hudspeth, and JuliAnna Briscoe. Got a quick question for you. What is your all-time favorite Thanksgiving food? What is your all-time favorite Thanksgiving food? Kristin.
I've never been a fan of Thanksgiving food.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like mashed potatoes or something?
Fair enough. What about you, Robb?
Yeah, same here. Never really cared for the whole Thanksgiving spread, but the desserts are a different story. So give me some pecan pie.
Okay.
Please.
Oh my gosh, this is like a three-fer. I am also not a big fan of the Thanksgiving dinner.
Wow.
I might go for the, what do you call it, cranberry sauce. Okay. Other than that, I'm all right.
I like most Thanksgiving foods, but actually I think pie wins for me. Although, it's about the only time I'll ever eat a pumpkin pie, but I enjoy pumpkin pie about once a year.
There you go.
What about you, Jason?
All of it. All of it, and then some. It's the only thing I care about is the food.
I'm with you. All right, Far Out, let's Fiesta. Everyone's favorite Highland Park sitcom family, their crawl space tenant and his walrus who lives in an above-ground pool, take a holiday road trip, but first, the opening credits.
I'm Molly Cuthbert. I'm grabbing my backpack and heading off to school. I have a carton of Marble Reds.
I'm kissing my wife, gulping down coffee, grabbing my lunchbox full of liquid Valium, and heading to school, which is also my work.
I'm rinsing my mouth with white wine to remove any trace of my husband's kiss and getting ready to run.
Hey, I'm pounding a sports drink to replace fluids from the 48-hour crawl space Bone Fest. I'm wondering if I should be concerned about the new mouth sores.
She's Morgan the Walrus, so enormously cuddly.
And she's Morgan the Walrus, corpulent and elegant.
Hey, she's Morgan the Walrus, a ton of wing walrus.
She's Morgan the Walrus, another creature my parents love more than me.
Who's your favorite walrus?
Morgan!
Morgan!
Why the long face, Curtis?
Gravity and bone failure at the molecular level. I'm also sad.
Why are you sad, Daddy?
Well, Thanksgiving always makes me ponder my mortality.
I think that would be more appropriate for the turkey, dear.
I'm also feeling the rage of my ancestors.
That sounds like something a person in Mortal Kombat would say.
Most of my older relatives have passed on.
None of those old tiny sons of bitches are haunting us, and I see that as a plus.
Isn't Grandma Meep still alive and kicking?
Well, she is alive.
And she kicks for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, well, what if you and Mom visit Grandma Meep over Thanksgiving?
Oh, a family road trip is a great idea.
You're not hearing me.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I'll make edibles.
What I was actually suggesting was that you two go and I stay home. Home alone. Except for the masked revelers.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I like the idea of unsupervised, rampant, masked revelry. I should be here for that.
What's the matter? Don't you trust me?
We went out of town for one weekend and you turned our carport into a sex dungeon.
Yeah, you love the sex dungeon.
That is not the point. We are all going to visit Grandmama Meep over Thanksgiving, and that's final.
Hey, did somebody say Fred Flintstone was the real father of Bam Bam Rubble?
No.
We were talking about a Thanksgiving road trip to visit Grandmama Meep.
Oh, well, where does Grandmama Meep live?
You know, you were having some really loud sex in the crawl space, Buck.
Oh, yeah, guilty.
I didn't see a woman leaving the crawl space. Did you sex her to death?
So I want to go back.
Yeah, guilty. Yeah, her corpse is in the recycle bin.
Oh, that's very green.
Nah, not yet.
Grandmama Meep is about 3 hours northwest.
Hey, upstate?
That's right.
Well, hey, would the Cuthberts mind if I came along?
No,
And brought Morgan?
the walrus who lives in our Highland Park above ground pool.
Well, yes, that Morgan.
Or Morgan and I could stay home.
Bitch, if I have to go, you do too. Grandmama Meep spits chewing tobacco juice on my feet when she sees me wearing open-toed shoes. I remember it as if it were yesterday.
I love those shoes.
Oh, thank you, Grandmama Meep.
That's an exquisite manicure, Margie. Why are you wincing?
Oh, because I know what's going to happen now. Oh, God. Gross.
Did you just call our daughter bitch?
She is a bitch, Curtis. And that was before the flashback.
You know, I'm not sure there's room in the SUV for Buck and Morgan.
Well, they could have my seat.
Oh, and Buck can sit on my lap.
We can bungee Morgan to the roof.
The Cuthberts and Buck and Morgan are going a Thanksgiving road trip to visit Grandma Meep.
This totally fucking sucks.
Quiet, bitch. Everyone gets one suitcase.
Except for you. You get the second suitcase for your sex doll.
Bethany.
We know the drill, Daddy.
And everyone has their fake IDs.
Yes, Daddy.
Correctamundo.
It's mine's tattooed between my tits.
We
know.
Oh, good.
Shit stain.
I prefer Curtis.
Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Mr. Curtis, I'm in a bit of a conundrum.
Well, Conundrum Resolution's my middle name.
I'm having trouble daisy chaining enough bungee cords together to secure Morgan.
Curtis, how about you do that walrus mind meld thing?
I was going to suggest the walrus mind meld.
Daddy could walrus mind meld with Morgan to make her immobile.
Like a telepathic freeze tag.
Exactly.
Are there any side effects for Morgan?
Well, her ear flaps may ring a little coming out of it. Of course, if it goes on 1 second too long, I risk total renal failure.
Mind the build. Mind the build. Mind the build.
I need my renal working?
Mind the build. Mind the build. Mind the build.
Oh, all right. Where's that adorable walrus?
In the above ground pool.
Where she always is.
That was a dumb question.
Mind the build. Mind the build. Mind the build.
Grandmama Meep, here we come!
Daddy, your voice has already gotten annoying.
There's an open seat, Marjorie. I don't need to sit in your lap.
Oh, sure you do. At least wait until I'm finished. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay. Have I mentioned the big Miss Walrus pageant yet?
What's that, Buck?
Well, it's only the top walrus beauty pageant in the state.
Are you sure it's not the only walrus beauty pageant in the state?
Hey, if Morgan wins, it would pay for our whole trip.
I don't know. We're making really good time.
Come on, Daddy.
Yeah, what do you say, Mr. Curtis?
I'll make it worth your while.
Yeah, the full Charlie's Angels.
The full Charlie's
The
Angels.
Cuthberts and Buck are going to the big Miss Walrus pageant. So, Marjorie, when can I collect?
You can collect when we move into the space mansion you promised me.
We're moving to a space mansion?
Hey, I hope it has a crawl space.
Hey, what's that knocking sound?
Me punching you in the back of your big, fat, meaty head?
No, not that. That hurt, by the way.
Pull over, Curtis.
What do you think I'm doing?
Oh,
A car is breaking down, and we're spinning out of control,
and
And we're still really good at unison.
Morgan!
Is everyone all right?
I'm fine.
A-okay, Mr. Curtis. Marjorie absorbed most of my impact.
Oh, yes, I did.
My pelvis may be shattered. Ow! Did you just throw a first aid kit at me, Mom?
Yeah, and what about Morgan?
Morgan!
Morgan!
Ouch, my pelvis!
Oh, there's a pelvic cast in the first aid kit, Molly.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks.
Yeah, hey, Morgan is fine. Hey, she just gave me a flippers up.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, so cute.
My pelvis is good as new.
Oh, isn't that something?
Yeah, I guess it takes more than a vehicle spinning out of control at high speeds on the highway to snap Morgan out of Mr. Curtis's walrus mind meld.
Well, I didn't get my online mind meld certification for nothing. Oh, the SUV won't start.
What do we do now?
See no option but for us to hitchhike.
Well, I mean, one of us should stay behind and try to fix the SUV.
Not it?
Not it.
Aren't you some kind of a mechanic, Buck?
Not this kind.
Well, that settles it. You're staying here, Curtis.
We'll hitchhike, Daddy.
Yeah, and anybody who looks Morgan in the eyes is going to want to give her a ride.
Ass, grass, or gas usually gets me a ride.
Do you ever have any grass or gas, Mommy?
I'll see what I can do about fixing the SUV.
Yeah, we'll get Morgan to the Big Miss Walrus pageant.
And send help from me?
Probably.
I've got $10 that says I can attract a hitchhiker the fastest.
Wow, Mrs. C. Full frontal nudity was kind of cheating.
Look, Bobby, please put your clothes back on.
Oh,
He's stopping.
I still got it.
It looks like there's just enough room in this van for the Cuthberts and Morgan.
Oh, we're so lucky.
You can put your clothes back on, Mrs. C.
Oh, I know. I choose not to.
Well, what do we have here? If I'm not very much mistaken, I'm seeing a very sexy woman.
Thank you.
Not you.
Oh, thank you.
Not you.
Hey, I'm not a woman, but I'm hella sexy.
Her.
Hey, I'm not super comfortable with you thinking my walrus is sexy.
He wants to give us a ride, Buck.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks, Midland Mike.
Now, how'd you know my name?
I believe we're in grave danger. I think Midland Mike is a...
Walrus trader.
Yeah.
Walrus trader.
No shit.
Hey, what seems to be the problem, sir?
Yeah, how can we help?
Our SUV broke down.
Tell me about it, stud. Sorry, for a second there, I thought this was grease.
I think I can help. Let me get a look under that hood.
Hey, yeah. Hey, speaking of under that hood,
I'm not comfortable with that transition.
hey, Jan will be able to fix your SUV.
All right, that's great news.
But there may be a prize.
Well, I have $60 in my wallet.
Different prize.
Ever hear of polyamory?
That is so kind of you. Oh, well, thank you. Now that everyone is piled into my semi, Marjorie, it's not safe. It's not safe to sit on my lap.
Oh, safe isn't sexy.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to let everyone know.
Your breath is worse than a dying cat's.
What? No. And we're not doing two more. I'm a walrus trader. I'm about to traffic Morgan big time, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
You're telling us you're planning on walrus snatching.
All right, here's the dealio.
I can fix your SUV, no problem.
Like, no problem at all to fix the old chariot, you dig?
Got it.
Jan can fix your SUV, no problem, man. You dig?
That is so kind of you.
Quid pro quo.
Terms?
Jan fixes the truck. You join our trio as either our fourth or our slave.
So you'll fix my truck, but I have to become part of your triple-decker weirdo family.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to shit stains
Curtis?
coming. Don't correct me telepathically in my hallucination.
Why are you hallucinating, Grandmama Meep?
I was looking for my tobacco grinder so that I can.
I know, spit tobacco on my wife's feet, I know.
And I tumbled off of my step ladder. I hurt my leg pretty bad.
Oh, Marjorie's connecting with me telepathically.
2. Disconnect.
Curtis?
Good thing those around us can't hear this telepathic conversation. Hi, Marjorie.
Hi, baby. Oh, we got ourselves into a little snag. We have to murder. But we're still going to plan on making the big walrus pageant.
All right, I'll respond telepathically. The pageant is in 6 hours.
Are we in your grandmother's hallucination as well?
I found out in our telepathic chat that she may have fallen. Well, then I disconnected.
Oh, well, keep the lines open. I dig.
I will likely also murder, but we'll be there in time for the Big Miss Walrus pageant.
As I'm clinging between hell and also hell, I'm realizing how important it is to spend time with my loving family.
Speaking of time, there are those murders.
Curtis, the squinty-eyed knucklehead,
Hey!
and his lusty wife Marjorie with the tobacco feet.
Oh, luck you.
That concubine from their attic.
I don't know what a concubine is.
Well, Marjorie does.
Well, I barely know how to read.
Well, it seems like they have some kind of kid. Well, I'm your great granddaughter. I gave you some of my liver cells to regrow yours. Anywho, having them over for Thanksgiving may be the highlight of my life. And passing back out.
I hope we make it to Thanksgiving. Betty, would you mind taking a look at this?
That depends. Are you willing to become part of our family?
You'll never be more free.
I mean, you always have to go second.
Wait, I always have to have sex after you do?
What are you doing?
Line up in front of this cliff. I want to take a quadra selfie.
Shove! So, are you two cool on the plan?
Yep.
Got it.
Did you hear that thump?
Oh, that thump was so loud.
It's like a rapper on a trade.
Well, now, I didn't hear a thump.
Well, you should pull over.
My daughter and I should walk you around the back of your truck.
Why?
You know how much a dented walrus is worth, Magic Mike?
All right, I'll check on the walrus. Lead me on to the back of the truck.
Okay, a couple of hand signals to Morgan, and there we go, squishing the shit out of Midland Mike.
Ugh, very gross.
Hell, we'll just be borrowing this truck, Midland Mike.
We'll drive it off of the cliff with you in it soon.
Now, all we have to do is synchronize our two strolling vehicles.
Curtis, I'll meet you at exactly the right moment.
Buck and Morgan will leap from the semi at just the right moment onto the polyamorous triad Subaru,
Yeah, and Midland Mike's truck will crash down a cliff.
with him in it.
Oh, yes. Well, don't be vulgar, Molly. I forget your name. You just came out of my vagina. Well, spare us the gory details anyway.
It's an important detail. Congratulations on winning the pageant, Morgan.
Hey, I knew you had it in you, girl.
Who knew that winning the big Miss Walrus pageant also allows you to become president of the United States for a whole week?
And Morgan's foreign policy is solid.
Now that Morgan has won the pageant, let's have Thanksgiving at Grandmama Meep's.
You didn't tell her?
Pretend like we don't know. Well, we made it to Grandmama Meep's. I'll just kick in the door. Wink, wink.
Oh, right. Wink, wink.
And we'll enjoy a perfect Thanksgiving meal.
Should we use Morgan's head as a battering ram?
Well, since she was the president for a week, I think the Secret Service would probably shoot us.
Oh. Well, Mom, why don't you try using Morgan's head as a battering ram?
Questions like that are why you spend most of Thanksgivings waiting in the car in the garage.
And this one is no exception?
Yep.
It's unseasonably cold.
Well, turn on the heater with the door down.
Well, won't I asphyxiate?
Do we look like lung doctors?
Well, more like lung interns. I'll wait in the SUV. Can someone please slip me a little bit of turkey?
Now you know you're not allowed to eat in the SUV, baby.
It's cold out here. I'll just kick in the damn door. Again, always having to kick in the damn door on Thanksgiving when we have to surprise our elderly relatives.
It's probably because you look so good kicking, Mrs. C.
Oh, thank you, Buck. Hey-ya! Grandma Meep, here we come.
Well, that wasn't good for my heart.
Grandmama Meep, I can't help noticing that you've eaten most of one of your legs.
Here's the deal, motherfluckers. Open-toed shoes, Marjorie. Oh.
Of course she'd spit tobacco on my feet. Knew she would. Thought Marjorie. Don't wear open-toed shoes, thought Marjorie. But no, Marjorie still had to wear open-toed shoes.
Here's the thing, motherfluckers. I have been down here for a long damn time. I kept myself alive for the first few days by eating my own urine and feces.
Ooh, raw?
Of course, raw. How am I gonna cook it?
Oh, gross.
Well, who's the hump with the walrus?
Well,
Who's that?
that's Buck. He lives in our crawl space.
Oh, I guess someone has to sexually satisfy Marjorie.
No, several people do, dear.
So I'm down here on the floor and have feasted on all of the waste I have produced.
Happy Thanksgiving!
And I start thinking, it's been at least 2 hours, and I better start eating myself.
Well, and you started with your leg.
Yes, genius. Now, I'm glad you're here. I have been in grave danger of bleeding out.
You know, I couldn't help noticing how nice Grandmama Meep's things are.
What was that?
Curtis, any chance that she was left out of any of this stuff to us in her will?
Why would we be talking about my will?
No way. She told me before that she's leaving everything to a Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwich.
Well, I have lots of good years left in me.
Buck, would you mind having Morgan smother Curtis' paternal grandmother?
I'm looking forward to sinking these dentures into some pumpkin pie.
You know, I'd be happy to, Mrs. C.
Look, I'm able to get up. It's a miracle. Wish I hadn't eaten my leg. Oh.
Hey, Morgan! Smother!
What's that walrus sitting on my face?
No, does that give you any ideas, Curtis?
Oh, hey! You know, there's a lot of fight left in the old girl.
Hey, I was getting a little lethargic. Did Morgan just smother Grandmama Meep?
Oh, sure did, baby.
We're going through our stuff to see what we want before alerting the authorities.
Before watching the what?
This is going to be the best Thanksgiving ever!
You do understand that we have committed a murder. I think it goes without saying that if any of you blab about it or implicate me in any way...
Yeah, you will have your walrus smother us.
We knew that, Buck.
Before we carve up the turkey, how about we carve up Grandmama Meep?
Oh, to make it easier to seamlessly dispose of the body?
That's right.
Daddy's little girl.
Sure she is.
I found Grandmama Meep's wishbone. Who wants to make a wish?
Speaking of Make-A-Wish, I think we could get a little help from them on making Molly go to Epcot and just never come back.
And this has been Far Out Fiesta episode 164, Morgan Thanksgiving Road Trip. I have been your host and humble narrator, Richard Houghton. Please give it up for amazing cast, Robb Hudspeth, JuliAnna Briscoe, and Kristin Keith. Anybody got any cool projects they would like to mention or stuff they would like to tell the world?
I did not mention that I have the best co-owner, Veronica Clayton.
Veronica Clayton.
Veronica, you're awesome. Anyway, back
Go
to
Veronica. All right, anybody else? All right, cool. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.
you. Bye, y'all.